Yo, welcome back, chosen ones. Man, let me tell you, simping ain't easy. Yeah, the title. Yeah, let's talk about it, right? So why would I choose a title like this? Well, I actually just yesterday didn't even have the correct definition of simp. I was totally wrong. I actually thought it meant something completely different. Up until yesterday, well, my son came up to me and he was like, "Hey, Dad, what's a simp?" And I totally gave him the wrong definition. Like I told him, like, "Oh, it's a simpleton. It's just short for simpleton." That's what I told him. Like, and that's genuinely what I thought it meant. And it turns out it stands for something completely different. It stands for suckers what it stands for, suckers idolizing mediocre pussy. That's what it actually stands for. So a simp is actually somebody that's like, obsessing over a woman for no reason, or almost like borderline, like it's borderline a creep, basically, is what it is. Like a dude that's just obsessing over a woman that really doesn't, deserve to be obsessed over, more or less, is what a simp is. So, what I wanted to bring up about this video is, because I've heard this term used several times, and I never really knew what it meant. I actually was interpreting it completely different. I've actually heard other guys call me a simp, like kind of behind my back in the locker room at work, and I've heard this, and this was like, actually months ago, whenever I overheard people talking about it. And I just figured that they were like, "Oh, that Jonathan, he's just a very simple guy. He's a simp, a simpleton." That's what I figured they meant. But no, the thing is, like, guys are saying this about me. And this is what's funny, is that the same guys that have said this about me are the types of men that are married men and yet scroll through their Snapchat looking at, women in bikinis, any type of female that's showing some type of cleavage or some type of skin, and they're like, oh, and like they'll even, flash the phone over like, "Hey, how do you like this piece of ass?" And that's exactly what they'll say, right? And these are the same men that have called me a simp. And why do they call me a simp? Because I refuse to participate in adultery, is exactly why they're calling me that. So it's like, all right, well, who's the simp now? Here's these men that are married men that are, basically looking at porn on their cell phone all day, just scrolling by it, and yet they have the nerve to call me that type of person. And it's just like, I think that even though that these dudes had the correct definition and I didn't, they're the real simps, right? Because it's like, I'm not idolatrizing. I'm not the one that's, convicting anyone of idolatry here. Like, I'm not idolizing anyone, really. I just have common, or I shouldn't say common because it's not common anymore, or at least apparently not in my world at least. But I just have this little thing called decency, right? I don't go around cheating on my wife. I don't, and like these like dudes, like genuinely, like literally will openly admit that they'll pick up a prostitute once in a while. And to me, like, I feel like it's like even more so if you're married. Like, that's pretty fucked up, man. My French, it's really messed up to do that to the number one person who has stood by you, and you go and spit in their face and go and sleep with another woman, let alone a prostitute. I mean, I feel like it's just really sick to me. And it just blows my mind that these dudes are so insecure about it that they will call the halfway decent human being names because they are so uncomfortable with themselves that when they see someone that's actually genuine or actually, has a heart to them, They meet someone that actually has good intentions, and they're just so blown away by it, and they're just so stuck in this world of self-loathing that they need to use names to call the other person because they just hate themselves that much. And they'll never openly admit to, being in this world of self-loathing. Never. They'll never admit it. But clearly they are, because they're going around name-calling other men because those men refuse to participate in their bullshit adultery. And I just, I'm at my wit's end with the way people are, with the way my fellow men are. And I've gotten to the point where I literally punch into work. I don't freaking talk to anybody anymore. Nobody at all. And it's not like every person I work with is all that bad. Don't get me wrong. There's a few dudes that it's just like, dude, I'm just not even gonna, if I do talk to you, I'm gonna keep it very, very vague. I'm gonna just make the conversation short, because I've seen that being around these kinds of people, the same types of tendencies can rub off on you. Literally, I found myself in that position where I've been in the position of literally being angry at the fact that I'm married. Oh, there's all these other women out there. I'm like, and you take a step back, at how ridiculous that is. Because it's dude, you're married. You chose somebody of the opposite sex to spend the rest of your life with. And, marriage is going to have its rocky parts. You know what I mean? You're not going to agree on everything. And that's honestly why I think the marriage between a man and a woman is the most pure. It's the purest relationship you could have, because you're so much different and you're always learning from each other. I'm just blown away that these men live on a level of reality that's just so not real. It's just so not reality that they are so insecure that they find a way to tear down the one dude who's actually going about things the right way, who's actually, being respectful to the person he's married to, and not going behind their back and more crucifying them, more or less, is what they're doing to their own wives if they're going around and sleeping with other people. They're literally just, it's not even like it's an open relationship, because I have a pretty open mind. Different people have different kinds of relationships in this day and age, and some people have these open relationships where they go ahead and do it whatever, but it's not even that kind of relationship. It's literally sneaking behind their best friend's back and freaking betraying them, literally. And they have the nerve to go to the people that aren't living like that and try to make them feel like they're the wrong ones in the wrong. They're the ones that are in the wrongdoing just because they're following the very simple 10 Commandments, It's you look at the 10 Commandments, it is the most basic set of moral standards that you can find out there. And that's just the 10 Commandments. And it's in there, thou shalt not commit adultery. Plain and simple. You married someone, don't go around sleeping with other people and breaking their heart. I mean, and granted, it's okay, this dude in specific, I'm talking about his wife, God bless her. Maybe she'll never find out, but from my experience, from what I've noticed, when people live that certain way, man, it's eventually going to catch up with you. And it's like I don't even wish it upon this person. Dude, when you get hit with this crap, it's gonna shake your entire life up. You got kids who depend on you, you got a wife who depends on you. She catches your ass, she's gonna take freaking half your money. She's gonna take your whole life. It's like, dude, you're gonna be struggling to buy a tall boy a beer, bro. Like, gee.